back me up on this, she's an acupuncturist. I believe that's what you're having acupuncture done on a lot of the etheric. So when people get cancer and they have it cut out or radiated, a lot of the times it'll come back because it'll move to a different area of the etheric body and find the next weakest spot in the body that's been weakened by emotions or issues in our life or whatever. But there's something in our, all of the people that have taken my mediumship class called ectoplasm. It's in our etheric body. It's a substance. And I can't remember what it's made up of, but I do know that Scott would know. What's it made up of? Not to put you on the spot.
I can't remember.
I know that salt or sodium and sugar are like huge in there. So what ectoplasm is one, it's in Ghostbusters. The guy that made that movie, I guess his mom was a medium. I didn't know that. But the ectoplasm is basically something like, imagine us all kind of having like a little bit of mist coming off of us. So if we're a medium, we have this special, not special, either blessing or curse, depending on if we know or not we're a medium, but it's coming off of us, and spirit can use this etheric matter to kind of like sheath it over them so that they can slam doors or flicker lights or turn the TV on or off, or like me, they used to turn the fan on and scare the crap out of me when I first started meditating. So like if you have like kind of weird physical phenomena, stuff like that happen, there's a possibility that you're a physical medium. Pretty much everybody in this class is. Physical mediums were like highly revered back in the 1800s when the vibration of the planet was a lot lower and harder to connect with spirit, because you figure spirit's here, we're here. But now it's like this, so they're like right here, everyone can connect, it's like the veil is like so thin. But back then, people would only believe if like something flew across the room or like the table started like, moving across the room or something. So people called physical mediums would go into trance, and they would have a battery. Marla's my battery here right now, and that one in the back over there when you're not here. But they would have what's called a battery, so it's like jumper cables on the medium, so that the energy would continue to go in them, and the spirits could use it to deliver messages and make stuff happen in the room. So anyways, that's why you will be dying for sugar, dying for salt, water. So if you want to get up, if you want to go, like if you're feeling like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I'm going to fall asleep, like I feel really bad, like don't feel bad. It just happens when you're in classes full of people. I used to fall asleep while I was teaching. Co-teaching. I'm like, excuse me, I'm just gonna lay down. And then I realized, oh, I need a battery, because I used to be the battery for my teacher when I taught mediumship for the first year. So I was his battery. So it was funny because, as he's channeling and teaching and everything, I'm like, and he's like, and Marisa, how do you feel about this? I'm like, what? Yeah, totally was awake. So if you start feeling tired, you can just get up and walk around, grab some water, eat something sugary, salty, whatever. There's a new place called Phil's right across the street that apparently is like Disneyland line to get anything. I was saying that Encinitas people must think that it's like the first coffee shop to ever like be brought you down or something. Seriously, the line is like long. And then there's another place called Good On Ya, like across over there if you want to go get like a juice or anything like that. We'll have little breaks, and then we're just going to have kind of like a short lunch, depending on what everybody wants to do. The number one rule that I always say for class is allow class and your irritations, keep it like an irritation log. It's funny, I call it an irritation log, and I always start this at the very beginning of any class I take, whether it be spiritual or anything, because you're going to find someone in class that you hate. You're going to be like, that person is so effing annoying, I can't even handle it. They just look and like, I want to punch them. Like, oh my God, if she raises her hand one more time, I swear to God, I'm leaving. No, that's it, I'm dragging her out, So what happens when we're in these classes is we are exploring different bodies, So usually when we're at work, we're like, just like our logical mind, we're in like very physical, we're not like feeling and emotion and stuff like that, unless we have like a work crush or something. And then the day takes on a whole new shape of form, You move into that chakra when you're at work, But when you're in this class, you guys are exploring your spirit body, which is an emotional body. You're exploring your emotional body, you're releasing stuff. So, the inner child's coming out, all of these little pieces of you that are going to be healed and acknowledged are basically being allowed to, your consciousness is being allowed to go into them, probably for the first time, some of us, ever, you know. So what we do, obviously, and this is why I always say most psychics give readings of themselves, you know, because unless you give somebody permission, unless she says, you have permission to go into my energy right now. If I look at her, I see myself. So it's like a mirror is around everybody. So everybody's a mirror. So unless she says like, oh, you know, please read my energy, and then I go in, I'll still see what I see in myself first, and then you have to dig past that. And then, you know, basically, tell the guys coming in. Everything's coming off soon. Not everything. Not that kind of class.
That was her battery.
Not that kind of spiritual class. So, but anyways, so the, what was I saying? Got a visual. So anyways, in these classes, when you look at somebody, they're going to remind you of your mom, or your sister, or your brother, or that stupid bitch that wasn't friends with you in high school anymore because she's still your boyfriend, and he did and da, and you're like, dude, but you're not going to realize that that's why you can't stand Marla. Mirror. Whatever you do, bounce off when it's next to you.
Oh my God.
Inner child. So anyways, I use it as an opportunity. I don't like know-it-alls in class. I don't like the ones that sit up front with their no fucking, like Scott, and because that's how I am. I want the teacher to know, this is the inner child, wants the teacher to know that I am paying the most attention out of everybody in the whole class, and that I am taking in more than anybody else because I'm the best, and then my dad will love me. You know, so it's like this, it's like this thing, these programmings that we have. So rather than getting irritated when you're in a room full of people and letting yourself be triggered, and then, you know, I get annoyed with, say, I'm going to use you as the scapegoat, goat literally, because you're
Goat.
Chinese astrology humor. But instead of getting annoyed, like say I get annoyed because Scott and I are so much alike, but I don't realize it because I'm not a conscious person. Like I'm just like asleep at the wheel. I'm just letting my emotions go everywhere. My body's running itself. All the bodies are working themselves. As soon as I get annoyed with him to a certain degree, now I'm going to think about how annoyed I am with whoever else I was annoyed. So it probably poor Jeff. You know, so, oh God, I can't believe that he just left the dishwasher just running all night long, or, you know, whatever. So then I'll start getting annoyed with Jeff, and then it'll go to my mother-in-law, and then I'll be like, oh, my mother-in-law. And then like, you know, and then I'll get really mad, and then I'll think it's all Scott. Does that make sense? So it's like our mind is going to follow and like connect the dots all the way around, but as unconscious people, which all human beings are, we're like, I don't care. The people that say they're awakened, the people that say that they are conscious or enlightened, I think are the ones that are the least conscious, awakened, and enlightened, because it takes a lot, I think, to be an enlightened human being, but to be basically conscious of the fact that we're these multi-layered people, and allow ourselves to be spazzes and allow ourselves to get upset, but to catch ourselves so that we can, you know, reel ourselves back in and be like, oh my God, he's taking notes so well, that's what I do. Aw, I wonder who it is that he wanted to impress when he was little. You know, I wonder, and then you have compassion, and then you love the person rather than not being able to stand them. So it's the thing I used to always say in sessions: treat everybody and look at everybody like they're a 4-year-old. Because you look at your 4-year-olds, those of you that have kids or nieces or nephews, you look at the 4-year-olds and they're like, why? Why is this? Why is that? Why is this? Why is that? Why? And, you know, yeah, we do choose our families. We choose who we're going to be born to. We choose the lineage. We choose our DNA. We choose all that as souls. But as human beings, you know, so we may have, you know, some hustler dad and some, you know, mom that hates men, you know. So when we're saying, why isn't daddy home, you know, oh, men are pigs. sweetie, men are pigs. That's just how they are. You'll end up with a pig. I'm with a pig. You know, it's like, that stuff, they're in what's called a theta brainwave. They are literally recording that. Like last night I was like, oh, Madison, is daddy a lazy slob? Just like totally kidding, because he's like, on the couch, but I mean, he works like, he's the opposite of that. My mom's like, imprints, theta imprints. And I was like, it was like so funny. I was like, thank you. It's always nice to have someone following you, reminding you every time you mess up. Maybe I should work on that issue today. Anyways, but I mean, really, like, honestly, you can ask yourself, even this right now, like, what is love to you? Everyone walks around and they go, love and light, love and light, love and light. And I'm like, because I used to do that. But really, what is love? You know, really to anyone. You know, unconditional love with most of us, with that comes fear. The guides always teach us. You know, we may love, I love Poochie unconditionally, no matter even if she poops on the carpet or whatever. You know, I love Poochie, but there's a little bit of fear in there. What if she gets out? What if, you know, someone kicks her? What if something happens? What if? So there's that little bit of fear that comes with the unconditional. And then to me, Jeff, I always share this in class, and so if you've taken my other classes, you've probably heard this, but basically, like when I was writing my newspaper article, I would share it with Jeff every Thursday evening because it was due on Friday morning. And then it would come out the next Wednesday. So I'd read it to him, and he would go, sweetie, that's great. And I'd be like, thanks. And like, I wouldn't be happy about it. I'd be like, are you sure? Like, is there like any, no. Well, here, read it, like mark it up or something, like if you think anything's wrong. No, I think it's great. Usually by Tuesday, we'd be in an all-out, blowout fight that he didn't care about me, he didn't love me. Like it would turn into one of those things. And so I went and I sat in meditation one time, or maybe channeled with my dad or something, and I asked him, why do Jeff and I fight every Tuesday? It was every Tuesday. And they said, because you read your article every Thursday and he doesn't criticize it, so you think he doesn't love you. Because my dad's the type that would, you know, mark up a birthday card if we spelled something wrong. You know, or like, Marissa, come on, use your mind. Hey, Papa, I made $1 million this week. I closed this many transactions. Well, just think, if you would have used your head, you could have made 10 million. You know, so it's like, come on, or I cleaned the whole house, but you missed that spot. You know, it's like, and it wasn't because he was mean, it was just, you know, that was just him, you know, and he's a little better now. He's still him. But now I recognize it, and I recognize when people don't criticize me that I think that they don't care. So if I'm saying like love and light, you know, what frequency is love to me? I make fun of Marla because I love her to death. I flip her off because I love her. Just kidding. No, it's because she did it first. But ask yourself this question right now. You know, we're going to do like a little grounding meditation. Like, what is love to you? Like when you were 4 years old and you looked around, what was love? Was it abandonment? Was it, you know, was it jealousy? Was it, you know, mom saying, you're going to leave me? Or dad saying, you know, this. So, you know, my sister has abandonment stuff, you know, with her mom, with my dad and stuff like that. So she just leaves all the time. And it's like, cool, you know? And so it's a good question just to ask yourself. Ask like your 4-year-old self, or, you know, if you can't think of anything right now. And then what you're going to learn today is ways to kind of heal that. But you can't really like, I mean, you can heal stuff, but it's best to be aware of it, because consciousness really is just us being aware of our own behavior and our own life. You know, so if we catch ourselves getting all like, you know, fired up, it's like, oh, hey, I'm all fired up. Why am I fired up? You know, and just, hey girls, just asking ourselves that question before allowing our inner child and our emotional body and all this crazy stuff to get out of control and ruin our entire day in class. I let this girl that clearly wanted everybody to know that she was a teacher in my theta class, like she kept like trying to give everyone readings, like, you know, in class, like it totally ruined. I don't remember anything from my first theta class. That I actually had to retake it because I was so busy like going like, she's gonna say something that's not really a question, but it's like really like, oh, listen to what I know. I was like so like annoyed, but then I caught myself doing the same thing. So, So anyways, but so that's the rules. Allow your triggers to be healing points today. Ask yourself this question of like what love is to you. If the bathroom is open, I'm going to go run because I couldn't use it. It was closed. If you guys want to just kind of write down like your goals for today. We're not going to go around, there's too many of us, and say what our goals are or anything, but we are going to go around and say our name. And then we're going to do a really cool grounding meditation first, and then we're going to get down to it. You have lots to learn. If you have recorders, I don't